Hey everybody, this is a quick reflection video on the live stream that I did a few days ago called the 6 Hour Guitar Woodshed Mini Gauntlet. And so I got this idea basically of practicing for 6 hours live streamed, and the live streaming is for accountability basically. I got this idea from interviewing Ben Monder, who's this guitarist from New York. He's incredible at guitar, and he's hugely influential on me in terms of how I think about music and how I practice. And basically, the story goes that when I was a freshman in college studying music, I sent him an email being like, I hate this place. Can I please study with you? And his response was kind of like, take this one sheeter. And this one sheet response that he gave me was literally more pedagogically potent and more valuable to me than my entire time at college. And so I'm still practicing this shit. He's still practicing it. It's incredible. You can find it somewhere online if you search hard enough. But he, in this interview that we did a few months ago on the podcast, he was talking about the few times that he's tried to practice for 24 hours. And that sounds bonkers, and it kind of is. And he himself has said that he's never really gotten past hour 20. And I mean, like, I still consider that a win to get up to 20 hours. And so he got the idea from reading a Ravi Shankar biography, where I guess Ravi Shankar was doing this for upwards of 3 days. And interestingly, somebody commented on this interview in the comment section on YouTube and mentioned a ritual called the Chilakatna, which is this North Indian ritual. And I guess that's 30 to 40 days. And I assume they can't just be playing the same raga the way that Ravi Shankar was for 30 to 40 days. Maybe they are, and that's fucking nuts if so. I mean, I don't know how you're eating and shitting at that point. But yeah, so this level of sort of ambition and, this gauntlet vibe really inspired me. And so I was like, I'm going to try this myself, But I didn't really feel a need to be macho and go for the 24 hours up front just because I'm a little bit out of shape musically. I haven't really been in the woodshed that often. And so I decided to start with 6 hours. The next one I'll do will be 12. And then after that, eventually I'll hit the 24. And so 6 hours was honestly very easy. And I attribute this to a few things. First of all, I was prepared just in terms of having calories and caffeine on hand. I had a big old batch of meal shake on hand, and I had a bunch of coffee on hand. So I was awake, I was focused, I was full, and I only had to pee once, which was pretty cool. The only other thing that I sort of got disrupted by was technical snafu. Just somebody called me and came up on my computer and scrambled all the audio signals. So I had to deal with that really quickly. Interestingly, almost everybody that watched commented saying, or they told me directly that they thought that I was looking directly into their eyes or something like that. I was making sort of frightening eye contact with them, but I think I was just sorting out the snafu. So if you thought I was looking at you, I wasn't. Don't flatter yourself. I'm just kidding. But let's see here. Also, so in terms of staying focused, I had a game plan, which Ben is a big proponent of. And the way that I did this was I basically did 60 times 6 minutes. So there were 60 different grooves that I focused on that were all based on different meters, or some meters repeated, that I used a random number generator to choose the time signatures that I practiced, and then I made those 60 grooves ahead of time. So it was a great way to stay focused and stay on a schedule, and also kind of keep it musical, because I didn't want to just be practicing in this annoying way. I wanted to, the live streaming aspect was for accountability mostly, but I also didn't want to make it unpleasant for people to listen to. I wanted it to be a kind of small, intimate, weird marathon performance. So yeah, that's how I kept myself focused with the grooves. I decided to use a nylon string guitar for this because my electric guitar is really heavy. I am predominantly an electric guitarist, but I've studied classical guitar, and I do like the sound of a nylon string. Um, but yeah, the reason I did this was just because the guitar is so heavy and this shoulder is generally fucked up from the strap pulling it down. Like if I stand with a level, you can see that my left shoulder is significantly lower. A smart person would say go to a chiropractor or whatever, but I'm not going to. So the thing that I realized about this is that it sort of forces me to confront these physical bottlenecks. And so I sort of circumvented it by doing the nylon string guitar, but the next one I'll do will be on electric. And I basically am realizing that if you're having back pain when you're practicing guitar, that's not an excuse to not practice guitar. It's a signal that you need to correct something. And so I'm aiming to correct that so that I can, have more time on guitar and improve at a faster rate. So aside from those bottlenecks of like the physical and sort of the focus, which I was able to get over, the time flew by pretty quickly, and I think this is because of like the feeling of being in a flow state. And so, if you're hip to like Csikszentmihalyi, I guess he's a psychologist. He has this idea of flow, and it's about finding the sweet spot between challenge and skill level. And so I feel like I was kind of right there in that sweet spot, and I tried to push myself a little bit over the edge. And I guess like I wasn't going to push myself into the edge of shittiness and shitty playing. So I felt like it was just fun, and it flew by. And by the time I was 2 hours in, I was like, whoa, I feel like I've been doing this for 15 minutes. And when you're in flow, time just disappears basically. And so that felt good. And I'd say that as I was, hitting hour 5 or so, I was just painfully aware of all the patterns I was falling into. And like, when you've been doing this for 5 hours straight, then it gets kind of psychedelic. And like, I started to just be like, I'm in 11 now. What is 11? Like, whoa, some like weird stonery shit like that. But I just became aware of the patterns I was using to excess, and I tried to push past them. And so by the last hour, after a little sip of scotch, I found myself doing some like pretty hefty like intervallic playing that I usually don't have the finger strength for on my nail, and I can do it fine on electric, but I was sort of just like plowing through this shit. And the next day, I, for the first time in a while, had like a new callus, which is I think partially from just the guitar I chose, but I spent a good chunk of the morning trying to open a jar and being totally unable to because my hands were kind of busted. But yeah, overall this was really fun. I felt inspired by my own ambition, and I was really excited that a few other people mentioned to just like see somebody doing something kind of nutso and ambitious is inspiring for them as well. And so that it's all this positive feedback type stuff where I mean, like in the sense of like a positive feedback loop. I felt energized by it, and I feel like I energized a few other people, and that made me feel more energized. And so yeah, the next time I do this will be in a few weeks probably, and I'll do the 12-hour. Then I'll eventually get around to the 24, and hopefully I can make Ben proud by getting all the way through. But yeah, special thanks to Ben for inspiring me in the first place with this idea. Yeah, I'll let you know when the next stream is coming. Thanks.